In this episode of Viral Rewind, we're looking at the NoStart Windows Trojan. Now, this is a 32-bit Trojan, so it will work on both Windows 9X and NT systems. However, with Windows NT systems, the payload is going to behave a bit differently than it does on 9X. Now, we've got Windows 95 here because we're using our Packard Bell multimedia computer. And we've got NoStart on the desktop, which, as you see, they've used this icon of a stop sign. I don't know why a virus writer would use it for that unless it's trying to masquerade for something. And its properties, there's not much to it. It's a 233 kilobyte application. However, when we run NoStart, now you may have seen it there, you may not, that our start menu momentarily kind of flickered. And what NoStart has did, if I can bring it back up here, is it has changed the icon for the start menu. So what it's done is it's put a fake start button over the original start button there, and it's trying to match it with the color palette and everything so that you wouldn't notice that. It also disables the ctrl-alt-delete key combination. So if you try to use ctrl-alt-delete, you can't do that. If you use the Windows keys to try to access the start menu, those don't work, nor does the ctrl-escape method, for anyone that knows that, because ctrl-escape is also used to open the start menu. So if you hadn't noticed that something was wrong, and you might assume that your keyboard wasn't working right because of those disabled key combinations, you might, okay, I'm going to open up the start menu, launch a program, a game, or something like that, figure out what's going on. Come down to it, you click on this, and the screen turns completely blank. You still have your mouse pointer moving around, but right-clicking doesn't bring up a menu of any kind. Again, you can't use your key combinations to do anything. And so at this point, someone would assume that the computer just hung up, that they've crashed Explorer, lost all their documents, etc., etc. Well, actually, in this case, you would be wrong, because if you close programs with Alt F4, that key combination still works. And look, we get our desktop and Explorer and everything comes back, but we get this fake error message. It says Windows has raised an exception. Windows causes exceptions, it does not raise them. And then it gives you this error in some kind of code 0756 BH. And then it says you must, capital letters on the must for emphasis, restart the system now. Notice that there's a space here with this period. Please reset your machine with the reset button. That's interesting. Another emphasis on not using ctrl-alt-delete, as this will cause a fatal error, which can only be rectified by reformatting your hard drive. Oh my. Well, all of that's not true. That's really there just to kind of threaten and throw off the user that something bad's going to happen to their computer. But of course, you can't use ctrl-alt-delete because NoStart has disabled it. But we can still restart normally, just fine. And here we are, loaded back into Windows 95 on the Packard Bell without any problems. So, as I said, it's a fake error message. It doesn't do anything destructive to your computer. And to simply get rid of NoStart, just take it and drop it in the recycle bin. And for added measure, so NoStart is no more. Now, it is possible that NoStart was supposed to have some kind of destructive payload based on that error message and how it disabled certain keyboard operations on the combination keys, like ctrl-alt-delete. So it obviously was monitoring them, that's why it didn't allow it, but it may have also been watching to see if you were trying to use it so that it would try to execute some kind of harmful payload. Or even with using the reset button, it might have been trying to write something to the disk like an overwriting Trojan on the master boot record or file allocation table. But again, NoStart doesn't do that. But that's pretty much it for the NoStart Windows Trojan.